Okay, according to the engineer's blueprint, what we need is some big wheels in the back and some casters in the front. Let's go get them. My rack of wheels. Where are you going, Hunter? Weirdo. Alright, so all these wheels were salvaged some way or another, like Grandma's walker. Anyway, these are pretty good. Well, these are nice. Okay, let's take these. Them's the goods. I got a box to put this in. Alright, found a box full of wheels. Let's go find some casters. Okay. This is my bin for WLLZ. Some of you might know what that means. Get that off of there. So I gotta find some nice casters in this mix. Hey, these look pretty good. Oh, they're nice and smooth. Let's see. That's 2, that's 3, that's 4. Nice. Alright. Yard shopping. Okay, so here's part of the beginning of the plan. Basically just figuring out what tools, how it'll be kind of set up, how many drawers, yada yada. So this is the latest drawing. All the tools and supplies that'll be in the cart and kind of how it'll be set up. So square tubing corners, metal handle, metal frame, plywood, everything else. And this is basically square tubing mixed with plywood. Mother load. A bunch of these babies. Oh, a bucket full of these. Square tube-ish. Okay, we got these guys. It's fairly thin square tubing. And they're not quite long enough for what I want. I need about 30-something inches. So I'll have to weld them together. Then I got a few of these. They're considerably heavier square tube. Then to make the joint, I'm going to stick a piece of round pipe in there to give that joint some rigidity so we're not just banking on the weld. So I'm going to make a mark and we'll hammer it in about 1 inch. Boom! That's another one. Okay, so for these next ones, we got a couple different size pipes here, wall thickness. So the one with the thicker wall, that's where the caster wheels are going to plug into, give it some rigidity. Focus! But the rest can be really thin stuff like this. A little bit of a bend in the end, I'll just chop that piece right off. Okay, now I'll shove this tube in there, stiffen it, take my mini hammer, feed it in about 1 inch, and I'll cut her off. Got boogers in there. So we need like 30-some inches. We need another 10 inches on here. Should I use my disc down to the core like that? Leave your opinion in the comments. Looks like we've got about 35 inches there. So now we got 4 of these with the thicker tubing on the bottom where the casters go. Now we got 4 of the backs. It'll be the back of the cart. According to the engineer's blueprint, it's supposed to be 16 by 16. So we need some 15-inch cross members out of the bucket. Okay, now we got a whole bunch of these. That's the bottom of one. Okay, I built the jig. This will make it exactly 15 between bars. Pipe slides in there like that. The other side goes in here. Perfect spacing. clamp. Boom, exactly 15 between. Okay, we're going to have an axle go across here. We're going to drill a hole through the tube here. We got the wheels, I got the rod. I put a pin in the end, so we'll start with that. So it'll sit here like this somehow. And this distance off of here to the bottom of the wheel, we'll have to match the caster wheels in the front. Okay, so then these casters, they end up going in these ends. Okay, so I got the wheels on there. Now I gotta kind of prop it up level. Well, level with the table anyway. Here's my bucket of shims. Okay, I got the casters here in the front, and they're held down by these weights. One on each side. Gives me a good measurement. Now, I pin the back down with some quick grips, and put 2x4, 3/4, and a little sliver of metal in behind here, and that brought it up to the right height. Now I'm going to take a center punch like this, and make a center mark for the axle. So that'll just come out there like that, and then I'll run it back and forth. Take a big black marker, just scribble on it. The top and bottom are about the same. Be right against there. There, now you can see it. There, nice straight mark. Now, since these are full of paint, they probably won't slide in. Nah, no kidding. What a frick. How thick is paint? Alright, see if we can hammer it through. There she goes. Lock it in. Now we'll tap it back. Now this side, if I haven't hammered it up too much, she's been mushroomed, of course. There we go. Like the plan was, it should move extremely smooth and easy. So that's the gist of it. Should easily, smoothly cruise around, tilt back, drive it as a dolly type of cart. And if you want to push it closer to you, you push it closer. You want to push it away, you want to spin it around. It should be nice and smooth. Okay, a little bit of slop in there, but better than too tight. Cut a whole bunch of these 1/2-inch plywood sheets. Okay, now that we got this board screwed in, I'm going to put another board on the side here. So this piece right here. Pre-drill some holes. So if you have 600 clamps, try to use them all on the same project. Now we got two little sides on there. There'll be a drawer right here coming out the front. Okay, now we're going to weld these top pieces around this whole perimeter. Move the spacer up. Now you got to crisscross square it. Make sure it's square. That's what I learned from professionals. Perfect! Got all the top ones welded on. Okay, so now we're going to put a perimeter around the center for another shelf. Flipper, the dolphin! She's a little too long. Alright, Grandpa, let's go put on the shelf. Seven more blades. At all. Flip her over. Need a sheet of metal. We'll cut this into little pieces. Yeah, 2 little pieces like that. These are going to be to indent the track. Okay, we're going to put this drawer track on here. Yeah, get in there, you peckerhead. There's one side. And then you think, 1/8 of an inch different? What happened here? No, serious. Why is it out of whack? How in the hell did this get crooked? Oh, do I have to check every number twice, 3 times, 10 times? Okay, so I cut a whole bunch of wood for the drawer. Like that piece, the front, the back, the side. This is the making of the bottom drawer. To make up for space, I kind of altered it around the drawer slide. It's kind of built kind of a cavity in between 2 pieces of wood. So now there'll be a bottom piece going here for the floor of the drawer, front and the back. Alright, we got the drawer done. She slides open like that all the way. It's like a filing cabinet. And we also got this board put on the front. Now we need another board over here on the back. We got that board right here. Let's stick it in. Here the drawer slides are sticking through. Wanted to cut them off, but the stoppers are right here, so I just left them. Here on top we got to countersink these guys. Countersinker. Now we need some 5/8 by 5/8 pieces of wood for tracks. There we go. We got all these pieces now. Now we're going to put one piece across there, piece across there, another across there, across there. But we need to cut them all down to 15 inches or so. And these will become drawer slides. Okay, now what we're going to do is be taking these pieces and making them like slats for drawer slides. Just a little bit straighter. So I got this thing all marked out for 3-inch drawers and the slides. 3-inch, 3-inch, 3-inch. One over here at 3 3/4 and one at 4 1/4. Okay, so we're going to stick them in like that, glue them, nail them, spacers in, glue her up. Ooh, they're gonna slide in there. Damn it, I had no nails in there. Okay, start this again. Nick frickin' chicken. Next, Tex-Mex. Boom, next one. Got my little marks here. It seems like I'm staying on track with these spacers, so that's a good thing. Okay, now I'm going to take these spacers out. We're using these guys. Okay, that's 2 for that size drawer. Now I got some slightly bigger ones. Next, Tex-Mex. All right, that's one side. Okay, now that we got all these slots glued in place and nailed in, these are our drawer tracks. These are all the pieces that I'm going to be using as drawer slides. So it'll basically be one drawer slides out that side on an upper track, one drawer slides out this side on a lower track, and another one, so on, so on. So here will be the drawer on the opposite side, runs on this track, and this one rides on this track. It'll be a 3-inch drawer, half the depth here, and yeah, they basically share the track space, and it makes it a full open drawer because track space goes in behind the other drawer. Pretty simple. Okay, so what we got here is all the pieces I've cut for the drawers. So it's the big drawer, the medium-sized drawer, a whole bunch of the little drawers, and the drawer fronts, 3 different sizes. These are the drawer bottom, and a lot of this is all salvage wood. Like you can see, it's all left over from something. So these guys, they got, no, not these guys here. These guys, they got paint on them. So we're going to take that paint off. All right, since this paint is kind of flaky, we don't know where it's from, when we blow it off, you want to protect yourself by wearing one of these maskuses. And yeah, you know, it protects you from pandemic. Sure as hell is going to protect you from this here paint. Let's do this thing! Okay, so I built a few drawers. This few here. And also one with the tracks in it. Now I'm going to slap one together. 2 of these, 1 of those. Get in there, freak show. And a gun full of bullets and glue. Use that side there as a prop or level, or push them together. Make sure they're bang on! Clean off the glue. Squishy, squishy, squishy. Bottom of the drawers, these pieces, basically just an old piece of paneling from some guy's basement, I guess. Another drawer without the handle on it or the tracks. We're going to make box after box. Nice. Just got to put these nails in here. Cool. Alright, so got most of the drawers done, except for this one. So I might as well show you how it's done. Box was done, right? So I make a mark along here to guide me with the rail. Grab a rail, and then I can dab her full of glue. Make sure she's on the line. Another one there. Don't put your fingers there in case of blah blah blah. Clean off a bit of glue with just the one side done, and I check and see it's fit. Looks like it has about the right space here. Once that's good, I pop it full of nails. After it's nailed, a whole bunch of glue is oozing out, so I clean the glue again. Then a couple of nails here from the front side. Okay, next side. Line it up, clean up the glue, and give it a try. Space looks pretty good. Boom! Alright, out here in the back 40, we got these plastic rails. They're kind of like tracks for like wooden doors or something. So that's what we're using for our handles. Let's pour these suckers out of there. McChicken! And then we cut them into little pieces like this. So we only want about half of this thing. So we're going to cut it in half. Good old-fashioned utility knife. Had this one for 30 years. Bought it for $1. Just keep scoring it. Then I basically bend it over an edge. Kind of bends. And it just snaps off like that. So that's what I want. Just the one piece like so. So I want this to hook on the inside. So we get a good pull there. All the way across, it's going to be the handle. So we're going to have to notch for this piece and this piece here, just so this thing can go all the way down like that. Line it up with the outer edge, mark where the plywood starts and ends. Then I take the trusty old snips, nip it down the middle, take a little piece at a time, till it takes that whole chunk out. Clean out all the bits and pieces. I take the knife and clean it out. Looks like she fits nice in there. Take the trusty old cheap vice grips, snap her down. Oh, nice little handle. Now I need some kind of a handle on here to move it. Something like this, like a fridge dolly. Gonna create a nice, smooth, contoured bend in the metal. Who the heck am I kidding? I don't have bend-a-majigs. Damn! But what I do have is a whole aisle of bent metal. So this is what I found. This is gonna make the handle. It's just a bit too wide. And we got two of them. So I took and I coiled up a piece of this pipe to make an internal pipe because I couldn't find one tight enough. Pretty bang on to 16 inches. What the McFlippin' shit's going on here? That sucker's bent. Boom! Pop the wheelie today. Next! You know, if I want to put a panel here, it's going to be a bugger to get the screws into here. Kind of like this. A little difficult to screw in. Let's put the wood in first. Oh! There, that's those two sides. Now we just need a piece on the back here. Alright, I got a bunch of wood put on there now. Doing this all on the fly, so I don't actually know how it's going to look when it's done, or have a blueprint. Alright. So we got a drawing. Here's the drawing. We're going according to this, sorta. Yeah, let's weld these rails on. Sometimes we call old Miller sputter nuts. This one's longer than that one. Let's chop it off. Okay, that kind of fits. Get this side in there. Uh-oh. Like the weld just broke. Don't worry, me and Miller will teach him a lesson. That's crusty! Okay, got her all welded up. Alright, I cutted all these pieces. Now I gotta put them together. So these are gonna be a cradle for my Sawzallmazal. So there's the Sawzall. One piece will be here, one here, and one here. And then this piece will go right on top. Something like that. And I'll be able to pull my thing out and go cut some crap. Okay, let's line this sucker up. Alright, so now we're gonna mount this sucker here on the back of the cart. So now we're going to cut this sucker into a square. One thing to know in a shop setting, always try to keep your tools nice and organized. Square enough! Okay, this area is going to hold my cordless tools. This is going to be like a cubby, I guess. So the jigsaw will go in there something like that. I'm just going to mark about where the blade is. And I'm going to mark about where the drill bit would go, if there was a drill bit in there. And same with the driver bit. So I'm just going to center it, and then I'll go according to, I'll make a bigger hole than we need. Something like that, we got her marked up. Now we'll just put a line between the two. Now when this is kind of set up like so, it'll be like you're kind of bringing it in like this, and the blade will just have a nice slot to park in there like that. These guys are going to make 1.5 inches. The bit will kind of have a place to be if I have a bit in there. And same with the impact. The impact will just some room for the bit to go in there. Alright, now we're going to take this space underneath here and box it in somehow so that we can, I don't know, park cars under here or something. Dumbass. There we go. Something to that effect. There. Be a little doghouse like that. Let's keep cutting. Make a line there. I'll chop that doghouse by the line. That's where we'll cut it. Alright, got her marked up. There we have it. That seems to be half decentral. Now we got some room in there for the belly of the jigsaw. So now we'll just have to cut this short. Make it line up with this. There, that works. I cut a bunch of stuff! Now we're putting it together. Okay, so I got these compartments all set up now and glued in and whatnot. Jigsaw, drill, impact driver. Something like that. Something like that. Here's the problem. If you hit a speed bump and your drill falls out, could be a problem. Especially this one. It's brand new. Good thing it's Makita, or else you wouldn't be able to do stuff like that. Nevertheless, we don't want this crap falling out. Then you got to bend over and pick it up, and that sucks. So we want it to be stuck in there. So what's the best way to keep stuff stuck? Magnets! Okay, so what I've built is this thing. It's got a magnet on here, and it's going to go, this round piece, kind of up and over the hole that I have in the back. And as you slide in the drill, bang! The magnet grabs it, and it holds the drill from falling out. Then there'll be another one over here for the impact driver. Same deal. You slide the impact in and bang! It just grabs it and just won't let it go. Kind of floppy, so it'll go boom! Let's try the drill. Now if we're going through the dunes and going off the deep end. Okay. Yeah. I think that's going to work pretty good, actually. Okay, you might notice that there's kind of a gap all up in here, and there's a reason for that. We're going to end up closing this off and putting 2 more drawers in this area, or I should say 4. 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. So 4 more drawers. You got to block her up and yada yada. Okay, we got those done on that side. Okay, now for painting the one cabinet, I found this stuff out in the garage. Okay, now what we're building, this here's the cart, and this here's the other cart. Different cart, same cart. Yeah, it's complicated. Anyway, we're building this. Basically, it's gonna have one cart's gonna hook to the next cart, and we're calling this the clickety-clack overlap. And there's a whole nother piece of this that goes up there. Yeah, something like that. There's gonna be a little piece sticking out there, and there's gonna be a little piece sticking out there like that with a butt. Yeah, coming off of this cart. Yeah, you'll see. So we got to chop these guys up, and we got to chop this sucker up. Safety first. There we have them. Gonna cut on that line. Ditto. Remember around here, safety first. Or 7th, we're not sure. That's a small blade. Maximum, because they're cheap. Cordless. That's how I roll. Yeah, rough up the new blade and it'll cut way better. That's one. That's 2. Okay, now we're going to be something like this. Something like that. We're going to set this at a 45. Close enough! The backside, who cares? Structural engineer approved. Okay, now we're going to take some of this rod and we're going to make a little bumperish type of thing up front here. It'll also double as a handle and it'll also be the hook-a-majig. Find center. Card's 16 wide, so we're going to go 15. All right, let's bend them. We want to go 90 degrees, but not that sharp. So we got rid of that angle piece. And we're going to stick a piece of pipe in here. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not so worse. Gonna make it a little shorter, something like that. All right, we need 2 of those. Chop her off at 2 inches. Okay, now I'm welding this piece onto the blue one. Okay, so I got the seatbelt piece welded on here, and it's gonna lock onto this piece. It's just a regular seatbelt out of a car or something. And that's what's going to lock it on. And I have like a quick release, quick hookup. And now we need to put a bracket on here, or a plate, so that we can screw this to the other cart. Let's do it. Oh look, there's already a plate waiting in my vise. So we don't want all this plastic on here, so we're going to take that off. Look at the guts in this thing. It's complexcated. Hopefully it works nice and slick like that. All right, got one more to do. It's like cracking an egg. There we go, we'll pan her up some. Black enough. Why aren't you dry already? Okay, I got these suckers all drilled full of holes. Now it's time for paint. Kinda like opening a present. That's it? Okay, they're all dry. Why do we have to tape everything? Make it two-tone. So much easier just to use one color. Okay, this is how I'm painting these handles. Front is painted, the inside's painted. Gotta paint the handle. Putting this piece of board on there. Kind of hooking the handle like that. I'm gonna hang it over here. Boom, she's done. Man, good help is hard to find. How could you miss that? Now you can't wait till the paint is dry. You have to get this shit together. Some hot water H2O. Okay, now put the wheels back in. One's tight and one's loose. Go figure. I made these little locking screws that are basically going to keep the wheels from falling out of its spot. Basically just a wood screw cut short. Same thing on this side. Now we touch those screws up with a bit of paint. Boom! The wheels are back on! It's only been 3.5 freaking years! The cart is off the table! Woo! That took long enough. Drawer! Next! Next, man! wet. Boom! That's how it's done. Okay, so what we need is some magnets to keep the drawers locked together, especially for transport. So what I got, one of these boxes. Usually, once they start rattling like this, that means they're pretty much shot, so you might as well extract the goodies from inside. Toughest part is cracking them open. I got some high-tech tools for that. That's right, that's my train track. Don't ask me where I got it from. So we're going to put this on here, and we're going to hit it with a hammer. There we go. There's a whole bunch of goodies in this one. All right, so what we want is these guys here. All of these guys. These guys are magnets. All right, the rest of this we'll just trash. Okay, these drawers, they sit like this. So we got a little bit of a space in between them, and we're going to drop these magnets in there so that the magnets will literally hold the drawer shut, and hopefully it'll be just a little tug and it'll be open. We're basically going to attach a magnet to the back of the drawer. Now we need some tiny little screws to screw this on. All right, we're going to screw it on there about the center. Oh, great. Trying to drive a screw in beside a magnet is not possible. Come on. Oh, come on, you stupid. There. 3 days later. What in the cracker barrel is going on here? All right, 3 days later, that piece that is on there. Doggone, why does everything have to stick McChicken? Okay, something like that. Who gives a crap? Let's make some damn U-holes for... Where the hell do you even have a hammer option? All right. Be nice to show you what I did, but I don't have a microscopic camera. So let's try this, see what it works. It's pretty good grip on there. Okay, so now we're going to be popping some holes in here so that we can put in a recoil for the cord. So basically we're putting this unit in there. So as you can see, those holes represent these two outdentations where the recoil goes. And it's basically just to make maximum amount of room in the box. So this unit going into the holes like that, it basically gives a little more clearance here for the vacuum that's going to be sitting here. And it'll also supply it with power. So now I want to jam it in here center so everything kind of works smooth. And then drill some holes and bolt it on. So I'm going to jam some popsicle sticks in here. Yeah, that's right. Popsicle sticks. Alright, looks like everything's still functioning. Lock the mechanism. Spring runs through. Cool. Now I'll drill another one out back here somewhere. I can't reach in there. Not enough room to get the drill straight and all. So I'm going to have to go from this side. So I'm going to take some measurements and drill it from this side. Alright, there we are. The bore machine. Pretty bang on to where I wanted to be. I think we done got her licked now. Alright. This time I made a little jig that I could squeeze into that corner. So I determined right in this spot would be a good place for the screw you. Alright, let's drill her. Okay, now I'm popping a hole down here somewhere. Okay, still working good? Cool. Guess we need a plug on the end. Okay, so now I put a plug on that cord end. Okay, so here I'm putting these electrical boxes in. I'm going to put a plug over here and switch over here and twizzle some wires together. There. How's that, pecker face? Okay, this is where my vacuum's going to plug in. This is going to be the on-off switch for the vacuum because it's easy. And this will be just auxiliary something. I'll probably plug in a radio or ghetto blaster or something. I want to put a sheet of metal down here that's shiny but not stainless because it needs to be magnetic. From magnets. Gonna take some kind of something. Bend it straight. Even after bending it straight, it's still pretty Willy Wonka. So I'm using the old forklift as a anvil. Flatten. Brand new Sharpie. I'm hoping it cuts nice with the old reds. That's rough on the old hand. Here we go. Oh, wait a minute. Why would I use this crap when I can use this crap? Alright, let's do this thing. Son of a... Cut my finger! Then I cried a little. Okay, that worked a lot better. Cut a little notch out the corner for the corner piece. 7.5, 7.5 over here, 7.5 over there, 4 3/8. Alright, let's do this thing. Oh, we still got to notch a little piece out for right here. Something's seeming way too long here. Oh, I forgot to make a cut. Missed a few faint lines over here I can barely see. Not sure how I'm going to keep this all down, but we'll figure something out. Okay, so we got most of the paint sanded off of here. We're going to load this puppy up with epoxy, and then we're going to quickly shove this guy in here. Slap it down. Push it down with a bunch of clamps, and let it sit for the rest of the day. Let's do this thing! Okay, start mixing. Okay. Bit oozing out there. Gonna be a bit of a mess to clean up. Probably should have used some tape, but hey, whatever. Okay, here on the back of the cart, I need a place to park the silicone. So yeah, we're gonna put a tube here, slide the silicone into. So we got these two nice lightweight steel thermoses. So we're gonna cut them open and park one or the other there, depending how big they are on the inside. So let's cut them up, see what's inside there. There we go, got the inner piece. For those of you who think there's insulation in there, there's not. There's nothing but an air insulator. Basically the air pocket between there creates a thermal break between the inside and the outside. That's why your coffee stays hot all day. This one's too big. Yeah, I was wanting to leave a little ledge on there, but then you can't get the tube out. Also, again, no insulation, just air. Also an air pocket under there, so I got to cut a little bit more. Dang it! Alright, now we have access to the inner bottle. So which one to use? Let's check it. Okay, this one, that's about the right size. I almost wonder if I should just keep that little ledge on there and it acts as a stopper, and then my tube can just sit like that. This one I'm guessing is going to be too small. Pretty sure. Starting to lean towards this one. That's kind of nice. Alright, I like it. Let's do it! Okay, we'll polish these crusty edges up just so nobody cuts themselves. Safety first. Okay, with lots of struggle and the camera off, I was able to get it mounted. There we go. Silly. Okay, so we got the channel logo on there. And basically just a piece of paper epoxied onto there. Now we're going to put this cover with 4 screws. Now to protect the logo, we're going to put some epoxy over top of it. I'm going to pour it on and let it self-level. And it might need some assistance from the heat gun. Don't think it's going to spread out by itself. I'm going to have to assist it. There's some bubbles in there. I don't like them, but I think it's too late. Yeah, it definitely ain't perfect, but who gives a crap? Perfect's overrated. So I printed out a bunch of these guys, and now I'm just gonna cut it a little, about a 1/4 inch bigger than the actual logo. There she is. First thing I'm gonna do is put this sucker down. I'm just making sure the screw holes are square, or at least close enough that nobody can tell. Okay, you can barely see the lines, but they're there. I'm going to make some white marks out here. Once again, not perfect, but hey, whatever. Okay, now we're going to build a whole bunch of these little hooks for hanging pipe fittings on. Oh! Alright, they're dry. Okay, these longer ones are going to go over here, and the shorter ones are going here. Looks like we're only going to fit 4 on the side. 5 is just going to interfere with the wheel. Gentle, we don't want to scratch it. Oh, ship. Battleship. Focus. Bang! Okay, so I've added some detail. Okay, I'm going to add a few things here in the back. It's basically going to be to carry ABS pipe. So there'll be a bar across here to prevent it from falling out. And some pins up from this rod to keep it in place. At least that's the plan right now. Okay, you can run this rod across here. Okay, we're going to call that the pipe stayer. And the pipe will stay in there, I hope. Okay, so what this unit has is a couple of drawers on top. These 2 up here. 4 drawers in total on this guy. There's a space for the silicone gun. And these guys here are magnets. So instead of holding like a handful of screws or something, you just slop them on there, pick off one at a time as you need it. And if you're using 2 different sizes, you put a different size over here on that magnet. And the other deal is, if you interchange bits often, you can have a few bits kicking around, maybe an extension. So it'll just kind of hold it there until you need it. And it won't roll away, it won't get lost, it won't fly away. You take out one bit, throw it over there, stick in a long extension. Or you need a really long bit, stick in your extensions. Done with them, throw them back there until you put them away. Or say you're using drill bits and you need a few different sizes. You just keep those kicking around. You have one in the drill, you got to change it out. Stick one on there. Grab your little sucker. No container needed. Nice, easy to grab off. Perfect. Now these other clips on here, these are for tape measures. Say you got a great big heavy fat max. You don't want to carry it around all day. You just hook her up there, or there, or wherever. wherever it's convenient. And you can also hook up your tool pouch here. If you got a clip style tool pouch, you can always use the top as a table. And if you're afraid somebody's going to bump it or whatnot, you can always park your drill into one of the corner pockets. And that'll keep it secure even if somebody bumps into your car. Okay, now we're down here. What I got is a spot for the impact driver. And interesting part about this is it's got a magnet all up in there. So when you stick your impact up there, the magnet grabs the bit. It'll basically prevent it from falling out. So even if your cart goes to tip over, it won't let the impact fall out of there. And the other pocket is for the drill. It's somewhat the same, except this has the metal chuck on it. So you can just stick it in, it'll basically stick to the metal chuck. Hit a few bumps along the way, and the drill won't fall out. The next pocket is for the jigsaw. On the opposing side, the jigsaw blade sticks out here, and this magnet grabs it, prevents it from falling out. Okay, here in the back we have a pocket for a sawzall. Okay, now we got the plug back here, so we'll pull it out. Plug it in wherever you got power. And this spot here in the front is going to be for a vacuum. Okay, so over here, in the shelf, so I'm going to put my tape dispenser. Over on this corner, going to be where the paper towel roll goes. On this corner, a flashlight. Okay, so what we got with this sucker, a little bit of the same. We got these hooks. Tape measure, or a tool caddy. We got the same magnets, drawers on both sides. We got 7 drawers on each side. And we got one more drawer here in the front. So here in the front we got some hooks, so we can put some plumbing parts on there. Same thing on the side. Here on the side there's 4. In the back we got a few for some long pipe. So how this will probably be used, could be like elbow there, another elbow. We got couplers, maybe 45s over here, 122 there, maybe a street 45 over there, a couple more 45s, a few more elbows on this side. So I always use random short little pieces like this to put into fittings and kind of figure out angles and stuff like that. So I always carry a bunch of these with me. So they'll be hanging up over here. I just basically keep them at kind of every different length just to do test fitting. So they will all hang up over here. Now the back side, this is where we're going to keep the pipe. So I'll store random leftover pieces, parts. You can also potentially put long pieces up here as well. This drawer, for plumbing glue, maybe some other glue, my cutting and cleaning tools, and then maybe just a bucket of random stuff that goes in there. Just the odds and ends. And this bigger drawer at the bottom, that's where we'll have some pipe dope, Teflon tape. Okay, so maybe the next drawer, we'll have a little bin in there, maybe another little bin. Maybe we'll have one full of 1/2 inch crimp rings, one full of 3/4 inch crimp rings. Maybe our crimp tools on top of there, and the cutter. Maybe the next drawer we'll have the PEX ring remover, maybe a container of 3/4 inch clamps, maybe a container of 1/2 inch clamps, something like that. Okay, next to that, we put in the divider. So in one corner we'll have T's in there, and the other side we'll have elbows, and couplers in the middle, something like that. And the next one, pair of channels, crescent wrench, and maybe a pipe wrench. Oh no, that's not going to fit. Okay, this one, put my square in here. There, it fits. My ratchet in here, extension, the other ratchet, extension, my tape, more tape, electrical, marking tape, and a little vice grips, top cutters, wire strippers, needle nose, some ratchety thing, some more tape, and whatever the hell that is. On the top one, we'll have another one of these dividers in there. Okay, and then we'll put a whole bunch of 1.5" screws in there. There. Okay, on this side, we'll put another divider in there. And we'll put a few 3" screws in there. That should be enough. There we go. Okay, next one, I'm going to put a divider in there again. And this one we're going to put in Sawzall blades. Wait a minute. Couple drill bits. There we go. Alright, we're going to move to the lower drawer here. Okay, now, drawer number 5. You know, being at the workplace and all, sometimes you got the inspectors coming around and, well, just in case the inspector comes around, we'll have some protection. And just in case that leads to HR, we got that. And just to keep it on the down low, we'll throw some gloves in there for safety. Yeah, we missed number 4 here. Just in case things get out of hand.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak.